So let us discuss about next topic, preference shares. In this topic we are going to discuss about features of preference shares, types of preference shares, advantages and disadvantages of preference shares, and last, difference between equity and preference shares. As I told you in the earlier videos, issue of share capital is classified into various types, but there are two shares which are very important in joint stock company: preference shares and equity shares. What do you mean by preference shares? Basically, preference shares, as the name itself suggests, that have certain preferential rights. Now you must be wondering, what are the preferences which are available to the preference shares? Basically, preference shares are entitled to a fixed rate of dividend. So what happens in that? They get a fixed rate of dividend, or they are having preferential rights to dividend. What does it mean? Let us see a company had profit of rupees 100,000 after paying off everything. Now in a company, normally the profits are paid to the shareholders, which is the preference shares and equity shares. Now when this 100,000 has to be divided depending the terms of these preference shares. Let's say the preference shares is you will get 6% fixed dividend. Then what will happen that out of unless the preference shares are worth rupees 10 lakhs. That means 6% on 10 lakhs becomes 60,000. So they have to get annual dividend of 60,000. Now what happens is that while they were entitled to this fixed dividend of 60,000, the company made a profit of 100,000. Now this 100,000 is not going to be divided equally among the preference and equity shares. Let's say they have a fixed rate of dividend of 6%, then first 60,000 will go to the preference shareholders and balance 40,000 which is left will go to the equity shareholders because they have preferential right over this dividend. Now this could be fixed rate of dividend or it could be minimum rate of dividend. Now suppose instead of 100,000 this was only 50,000. Then also their right is preferential. So they will get this entire money and nothing is paid to the equity shareholders. So they have a preferential treatment as far as dividend is concerned. Second thing is that suppose the company goes into winding up. Winding up means that the company is unable to perform the business for which it is set up, or it has made losses, and the shareholders or the creditors decided that company should no longer work. So winding up means closing down business. When winding up happens, and you will study more detail about moving career towards accounts and all, what happens is that whatever money the company releases, let's say the company sold off all its assets and got 10 millions. The creditors and liabilities went off 5 millions. Then they were left with 5 millions. Now out of these 5 millions, the order of payment will be first the preference shareholders will be paid. Why? Because they have preferential right to get their money back. In my example, it was only 1 million for preferential shareholders. So absolutely there is no issue. They will get their entire 1 million back and remaining 4 million will go to the equity shareholders. In case preferential share was, let's say, 6 million, then what would have happened is this entire 5 million would have gone to the preferential shareholders and equity shareholders will not get anything. This means basically in terms of payments, they have preferential right in the time of winding up. That's why they called preferential shareholders. Now, the equity shareholders, what is the class? They are the restrictive one. Why? Because they take the maximum risk, and equity shares in Companies Act is defined as the share which is not a preferential shares. If you have preferential rights, you are a preferential shareholder. If you don't have preferential rights, then you are an equity shareholder.